Hello, welcome to another video. So this video, I'm actually going to do some open source development on another project, not my own operating system for a change. So this one, I'm going to be looking at a project called Ladybird, which is a web browser, and like it kind of works, does some things. It looks like not as maybe polished as you might expect. Some websites are a lot more polished than others. The methodology they use is to basically go through and implement the specs for like one website to make that look quite polished, and then the side effect of that is it actually affects many other websites because many other websites use the same HTML specs or CSS specs or JavaScript specs. So yeah, it's quite good. It was actually written from the ground up. So it has a little web page, Ladybird browser project, and it has a little GitHub page with all the things, and it occasionally crashes, but that's all right. It occasionally crashes completely out, like there was just the tab crashing. You may have seen similar in like Chromium and stuff, but yeah, it's in a pre-alpha state. So I use it because I guess I'm a developer. Selecting there doesn't work, but that's all right. Um, you may have actually seen this in some an earlier video series I did on this channel for Advent of Code last year, where I did that all within the Serenity OS operating system using the browser there. The reason I say that is because um, that yeah, um, Serenity OS. I think that's what it is. The reason I say that is because this browser was actually part of Serenity OS, and it recently got forked out, what kind of pulled out into its own project as its own thing because it can run in many different operating systems. So it can run on Linux, it can run on Mac OS. I believe there's like some work being done so it can run on an Android phone. I haven't looked at that. I'm unsure about Windows, but I would expect it to work on BSD variants as well. But who knows? It may not. Um, but yeah, so it was forked from this Ladybird. So um, the Ladybird web browser is now part of this other repo, which I just mentioned. So what I'm going to be doing today is updating one of the pull requests that I had. So if we go to here and look through for my name, I guess, being a few, this is the one I want to do. So I have been doing like a couple of small pull requests just to kind of get my feet wet, I guess. So one in particular I did was it was just really slow. Um, one in particular, I suppose I was still rendering that. One in particular I did was this search oriented web address actually showed all the time. So we can see now it shows enter web address, and when it has search enabled, it has that. One problem with that is I didn't actually make it update as you do it. So like some other settings, like say show menu bar, it will update the GUI as you go. I prefer having the menu bar on because then I can do things like that and just use the keyboard shortcuts. A feature I'll probably add in next is maybe have keyboard shortcuts to access all of these, but you can actually, if we go back into there, you can tab through like that, which is fine by me. But so what I'm going to be doing is this pull request was doesn't quite have the same keyboard shortcuts I'm used to in Chromium, but I have a plugin to make it like quite Vim-like using Vimium. But that's fine. I can go back to the basics and see what kind of works and what doesn't. It's sometimes kind of slow, but yeah, it's sometimes kind of slow. But what I want to do is basically make it say search with whatever engine you have enabled. So currently it just says search or enter web address, and I'm actually going to search with DuckDuckGo, and say if I want to search with Bing, I want to say search with Bing, and that aligns kind of closely with say what Firefox does. We can see here it says search with DuckDuckGo or enter. So what I'm going to be doing is, so we can see that I am currently on. So I'm going to be doing some work on this, which will require me kind of rebuilding Ladybird, and doing so will actually require killing the browser. So I'm going to just preemptively close that. And we'll look at the git status. We're on master at the moment. What I'll do is switch to the branch that I had, which was show search name and placeholder. Now I've actually already rebased, so if we run this, it should come up reasonably quickly. It doesn't require too much building. If we look at the patch I showed, it does some things. So it basically does this one change, which will set it to search with whatever. But the problem is, so if we start it again, have to start it like this. Potentially not. I can't recall how I set that up. So if we pull open the settings, if we change stuff here, you can see that it's not actually updating this. So currently I'll be searching Wikipedia in this tab. If I search, there's another bug. You have to have 2 words, which I made another bug ticket for that. You can see that it actually searched with Wikipedia, and that's not kind of what the placeholder text says there. So what I'm going to do is make it do that. So I was doing it in location. So let's start off in here and maybe do a little splitsy, maybe actually splitsy that way. The font's actually quite big, so maybe I won't do slits and stuff. So this is kind of what I had, and what I have in mind is using signals. So if we actually open up Qt Ladybird Qt settings, and I think I actually just want to open up that one and the header. So if we go down into the header of the settings class, we can see that it's got some signals. So what I want to actually do is basically put some signals in for when the various features change. So if we go back to here and basically, so when we click this, it will automatically update the whatever placeholder text it is. So if we disable search, it'll just say enter web address, and if we enable, we'll say search with whatever, and if we change whichever search engine, it'll say search with whatever is new. So here, I'm going to make 2 new signals, and I'm going to change the names to one is going to be label search changed, and that's going to be label. And this is kind of just using a similar to here. So show menu bar was the function here, and enable search was the function here. And so show menu bar changed is going to be that, and enable search changed is going to be kind of the function name that was there. And we're also going to have one for, if we look up here, we have a set search engine. So maybe I'll do that. So search engine changed. And something like that. So I'll just check that search engine. Yeah, so that's the function, just search engine. So maybe I'll write this and I'll do like a make here g equals say meta ladybird run with a thing there. So now this should it'll probably still work actually because I've just changed the header, but it might fail because it'll be like I don't know where these signals are. The idea of having that make program is I don't have to leave them at all. Yeah, so it'll still work at the moment, but what we also need to do is actually do the signal. So enable set that doesn't exist anymore. Show menu. Yeah, so set show menu, we actually do that. So we basically do the same thing here. We'll just change that to enable, and what did I set it to? Enable search change. So that's going to do the signal. And we also want, it's like not really close to where it is, weirdly, which potentially I could move it down as part of this change, but I feel like just having single line commits is good, and then another one could be a cleanup of moving the search engine stuff to where the search engine is. But this can be search changed. And what we'll do is we'll pass it in search engine. That was kind of weird. I'm recording a video, so it might be a little slower getting all my tags. The tag file is actually quite large as well. So now we should be emitting some signals. What I want to do here is I want to connect to the signals to basically do this chunk of code. Now, because I'm going to be connecting to two signals, I want, well, I'm going to have two signals, and I'm also going to have the initial setting the placeholder. I kind of want to abstract that out into a function of its own, maybe something like update placeholder. And it can just be a thing by itself, and maybe we'll pack it down here in a void location edit to give it the same namespace, and what did I call it? Update placeholder. And we'll do a thing there. Come on. All right. And I'm like a bit weird about we don't actually need that brace around there, and it looks kind of weird with no braces on the else, and the coding style does say we don't need braces if it's a single thing, which even though this looks like kind of a long thing, it is actually still a single statement indentation. So that update placeholder should now just work. If we go back to where we were, that's not where. I'm going to bar back. Right, so this update placeholder, we call that here, and what I believe this will happen is it will actually fail now, fail to build, either with a compile error. Yeah, it's a compile error. It's like, so we can open up this whole thing, and this makes it quite nice. Basically, use of undeclared identifier update placeholder doesn't know what it is, and out of line definition of update placeholder doesn't match any declaration. So these two errors. What that tells me is we kind of need to set a function for it. So we can do update placeholder. So now if we go back to where we were, now if we make it again, what it should do is take a little time, recording a video and doing like audio pre-processing as well. So it might take just a little bit of time. It's got 11 files to do. But yeah, there we go. So what I might do is just make sure it still works with the existing functionality. So say it's search with that. If say we change it to that, it will show Bing again. Up there, do that. I actually want DuckDuckGo, but and say if we disable search, then we can see that it just shows enter web address. Cool. So that is all working fine. So if we close that because we know it's working, now what we need to do is actually connect the signals. So I guess what we need to do is something like connect this, and we want to have the settings, and what do I call it? Enable search changed, and we want to just give it location edit and update placeholder, and I believe we need to do a reference to that, and we also want the other signal, which was search engine change. Come on, give me some tags. Search engine changed. Yeah, so bits and things there. If we recompile that, right, so it complains. I had a feeling it might because I actually want this connect thing, and this one will require two things here. Signals. Had to learn a bit about the Qt signal thing. I've never actually done much Qt stuff. I think I did like something a decade and a half ago, which I don't think I ever actually pushed upstream. I kind of was just like, this is annoying me, so like I'll just make it do my own thing, but never actually got it good. So yeah, because I think this connect actually is not going to the same connect as this QObject connect, but I could be wrong. But like a quick thing, it didn't work. But all right. I feel like that is what I have in my show notes there, so I'm not too sure. We don't want to connect on this. We want to connect on the settings the. And now if we make that, it should work. Cool, so that opens up and we can see there it says int web address, and if we so if we look up here, maybe bring this a bit closer, if I enable the search and disable the search, it's changing the placeholder text. And if I change that to something like Yahoo, it's changing it on the fly there. So that is exactly what we wanted in the don't have it in my paste buffer, but it's exactly what I wanted in this pull request. Now, the reason why I wanted to update the pull request is someone actually commented that ignore all of this. It's like, it's debugging output. There are some issues with the browser, and like, yeah, there was like a JavaScript issue, but like, that's all right. It still kind of works fine here. These are just things that could be done to improve it further. But yeah, if we scroll down to the comments, looks good, but wondering what happens if we change the search engine after the tab is open. It'll show the old search engine. I'm like, oh yeah, it will. I'm not too sure how to do it. And then I'm like, you can just add some signals. I'll take a look tomorrow and add this to the PR. And you can see I commented on this just yesterday, last week. I've actually been a bit unwell, so that is my excuse for that. So what I might do is commit that up, basically. So if we look at our diff, make sure it looks all fine, we move that, we basically replace it with a call to the new function that we've made, and we connect to the two signals that we've made. We make that new function with the same stuff that we had there, so that's all good. And then we declare that function in the header. I believe it was in the private section. And in settings, we basically emit those two signals in those two places. So you see here when I was mentioning they weren't in the same place. If they were in the same place, this would probably just be one diff snippet. But if I moved the whole thing, then it would basically show a deletion of this and a insertion of it down here, and you might not see this in its search engine. That's a new change. So it kind of makes the diffs a bit harder to see. So you want to make your commits a single atomic change, basically. It only does one thing. And we also declare the signals after that little slide back. So that looks good. What I might do is just see how the thing does. Just want to make the commit kind of, we actually need to add the Ladybird thing. We can probably delete that. So the PR was, well, I could keep it just so it's still there, I guess. So if we check, yeah, now we have everything we need. Gosh, weird typos that I don't usually have, and UI slash QT update placeholder X dynamically location, or it's like one character over, you can see there. Well, we go like that, you can see it's like just over the 50 line limit. And if we look at Ladybird dot div, actually no, I think it's potentially easier to it does pass the CI, so maybe do this. Uh, when the settings for search engine changed, update the location placeholder text effort free me to show whether it is enabled, and if so, what search engine is in use. And this will load something. Get show head dash. Not sure I actually made a bug for it. So if we just copy that here, they'll be a bit quicker. Yeah, I'm not sure I made a bug for this. So if we search my issues, GitHub I notice is a bit slower than other websites on Ladybird, but I mean, yeah, so I only have that one that is a different one. So it's like where you just search one. You saw it before. If I just search for one thing, it's like failed to load this, which is a bit confusing. Interestingly, I actually go through and basically search through what Chrome and Firefox do, doing various things, and I do a deeper dive into whether there are valid domains or not valid domains, and then I'll focus a bit more on URLs that don't have a dot in it, because like if I'm searching for abc.def, I most likely don't want to search for abc.def. I mean, I might, but it's kind of, in my experience, I've never really wanted to search for that. So I focus only on dotless domains, and then I test all the different parts of a URI and see what everything does. And my outcome from that was we should search for everything that is doesn't have a dot in it, except localhost or valid IPs, which ironically do have a dot in it, but the v6 don't. And anything with a username, password, port, or path, it should be probably ignored. Interestingly, there are some edge cases in Chromium and Firefox that probably should not get searched for, like if you put a username in or etc. But yeah, that's a bug for another day. So I guess this doesn't actually have a thing. So what I might do is do a git push force with Elise. Thank you very much. Because this is going to my branch. So what it should do is update this pull request. And it should theoretically, gosh, I like putting heaps of pictures. So yep, I have now done this. It's running some stuff, and I might just do a little comment. Finally, tomorrow is I have updated this to include some signals in the settings widget, so that the placeholder text is updated when the search is enabled, disabled, and if enabled, then all when the search engine is changed. And that should be that. And I think this should pass everything. Like I've got, yeah, like it's got a lint code done, and the rest of the CIs are like just building on various things. So I'll comment on that, and hopefully that will get pushed. And I think that is basically all I wanted to do in this video. So nice quick one. Well, quick for the standards of my videos doing development. But yeah, hopefully people enjoyed that. And if you are interested in Ladybird, just go to ladybird.dev and read up about it. There's a Discord server that you can jump in. And if you want to run it, you actually have to build it yourself, but the build instructions are fairly reasonable. You have to install a few dependencies, but it kind of shows what dependencies you have, and once you have it building, it just builds pretty well. One downside I see is basically you have to update like everything, but that's just how CMake rolls, I guess. But yeah, thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed this video, and hope to see you again next time. See ya.